Wow, another great question. What are the biggest challenges that I face in helping people with reverse mortgages? Well, the first thing that comes to mind are the heirs. Depending on how well we've raised our children, will determine how much they're interested in the equity in our home. I know my mother, who's 95, she has a reverse mortgage, and I wanted her to live a quality of life. I wanted her to live the life she loves, and I didn't really want to have her scrimp and save and worry about being dependent or any of that. So, you know, I encouraged her to get the reverse mortgage. Of course, I helped her with it when we did it many years ago. She's probably one of my biggest advocates. But so the heirs are one thing. I think also there's a generation that's a little bit older than me, the generation above me. I think that's sort of a Depression era mentality where they've worked long and hard to pay off their home, and they feel like losers because they're going to have to get a reverse mortgage, and none of their friends have it, and blah, blah, blah. You know, and they can look at it that way. But if their home is paid off, they've done something a lot of other people haven't done. They should be very proud of that. And to be able to use the equity in your home to live the life you love, you know, I guess the biggest challenge that I have and where I get the most satisfaction is having people to go from feeling like they were destitute, losers who were just pinching pennies to scrape by, you know, using all the Social Security, waiting for those checks to come every month, going from that mentality to feeling like they won the lottery. I think that's the biggest thing I can do for people, is help them really feel like, you know, they won the lottery, they did something really good with their money, and if they've raised their kids correctly, the kids will feel that as well. You know, one of the interesting things right now that's happening, I see, is more and more, and a lot of our marketing is geared towards the younger generation, my generation and younger, because, you know, we don't want to have to be dependent on our folks. We don't want to have to take our reserves to support our parents. I'd much rather that my parent, or my mother in this case, use the equity in her home to you know, to mitigate using her assets. Obviously, I'd rather inherit liquid assets than I would equity in the home, because that has to be sold, and maybe there isn't any equity, but there's liquid assets, they're there. So yeah, that's kind of the biggest challenge I face, is the heirs, and helping people make the transition and really change their paradigm from really being losers to lottery winners. I hope that helps.